evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you for joining us to this first webinar in our motivational series entitled The Exporting Story, Experiences and Learnings from Successful Tobago Businesses. These sessions are a part of Export TT's Tobago Exporter campaign. The Tobago Exporter campaign is geared towards both motivating and facilitating manufacturers in Tobago in their quest to posture their enterprises for eventual export. At Export TT, we understand the journey towards export readiness can be a path strewn with many challenges, requiring individual grit, creativity, and innovation. To this end, we have identified key Tobagonian entrepreneurs who have been able to successfully navigate this economic terrain and are currently engaged in building strong, dynamic export enterprises. As part of this series, they will share their insights and experiences with other Tobagonian business owners and demonstrate the strength of their status as true entrepreneurs. This evening, we are pleased to have with us one such person as our featured speaker, Mrs. Darilyn Smart. Darilyn Smart is the Managing Director of Smart Foods Caribbean Limited and is responsible for the corporate administration and strategic direction of the company. Additionally, she functions as chairperson to the Tobago Agro-Processors Association, principal consultant at Salt Consulting Caribbean, where she assists businesses with adopting and implementing procedures, systems, processes, and tools which position small agro-businesses for success. Mrs. Smart is also an agro-processing mentor with the Network of Christians in Business, and she is the initiator and director of the newly formed Caribbean Women in Trade, CWIT. In 2019, Mrs. Smart, along with 3 other women from St. Lucia and the Bahamas, launched Nove Inc. and designed a tech solution called CropMate for open field farmers to measure moisture, temperature, pH, and NPK right on their farms using a device and app. This solution is now in prototype stage and is being tested at 10 farms in St. Lucia. She also serves as the host of Agro-Processors Talk, a LinkedIn live show where she showcases agro-processors and farmers from across the Caribbean. Mrs. Smart's passion is to see women in business grow from the home kitchen to the world at large. Export TT is pleased to present this evening Mrs. Darilyn Smart. Welcome, Darilyn.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Export TT, for the opportunity to share today. So let me get my presentation ready. All right, so good afternoon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to try to share some of my journey towards agro-processing success. And it's a journey. I'm not there yet, by no means. But along the way, we have had some ups, we have had some downs, and tonight I want to share some of those with you. So let's move right into it. So I'm going to be sharing 7 lessons learned so far on the journey towards agro-processing success. And I'll start with lesson number 1, which is innovate. Now, the thing about it is most agro-processors, even myself and my husband, we started business out of a need. And most businesses within the Caribbean would have started off in the same way. So what that looks like, we have giftings, we have talents, we make this thing, somebody tell us, our family tell us, we make this good, we make that good, we make the other good, and we make it and we bring it to market. And sometimes people buy it, sometimes they don't. And we often wonder, why didn't they? Why we didn't get the big bumper that we thought we would? Because of a foundational oversight. And I want to talk about that oversight because I made that exact Same mistake when we started in business in 2011. So rather than bringing a product to market and trying to get it sold, instead, what we should be doing as agro-processors is looking around the community, the island, the region, seeing what problems there are, and see how we can solve one or two of those problems. Your solution must be reflective of the community, and it must be something that they want. I can remember earlier on, I met someone in the States, and she was saying to us, you know, if you provide what the people want, you will never be out of money. Your product will always sell. And because most of us would have started in survivalist mode, we basically would have bring the product to market rather than analyzing the market and getting a product that will suit that market. So that is the first lesson that we learned in our journey, actually in 2016. I didn't start learning long, 2016. And this step is especially new, and especially for new processors who desire to provide a product for mass market. So if you decide that you want to have a product for mass market, you have to know what the community wants, and you create a solution to solve that problem. The second lesson that we learned, well, I learned, was prototype. And your products are made for the persons intended to use it, and it serves your customers' need. Do not fall in love with your product. I had that problem. Anytime somebody come and they say something about the product, you feel offended. What wrong with she? What happened to them? This, that, and the other. Them ain't no good thing. That, and all of these comments that we normally make. But the thing about it is that we have to test the market to ensure that who we design this product for, they like it. So we have to test the taste, smell, the consistency of the product. We have to test the packaging, its durability, suitability, and sustainability. We have to look at our sales and distribution channels, how our customer want to buy. Now, I have to say want to buy, not how you want to sell it, but how your customers want to buy it, when they want to buy it, and where they want to buy it. The frequency of their purchases is also important. So customer feedback is gold in the hands of an agro-processor. Do not despise it, welcome it, ask for it, because the more you get it is the more you can refine your product to suit the people who you are intending to sell it to. Let me say this. You know, we normally, when we have a product and we develop a product, the first person you will test is your family, and then you would go to your neighbors and your extended family and that sort of thing. I would say, if you are prototyping a product for market, do not rely heavily on what your family and friends say. They love you. They would never say, well, some families have people like that. They will say, oh God, it doesn't taste good. Do over that. But most families will not want to hurt your feelings, and they will go along with it. The other thing, when you live in a family, your gut flora is the same. You all eat the same and everything the same. So even if something is not palatable to you, because that's how your family eats, it's important that you get persons outside of your family to critically test it, taste it, to ensure that what you are providing is for others. So I wanted to put that in. And I'm telling you, everything that I did made mistakes. And the moment that I started polling the market and find out, what do you want? How do you want it? And that sort of thing, we started tailoring a product for the intended market that we wanted to attract. So I hope that I'm making some sense. So if it is that I'm making some sense, you just put a little thumbs up and things so that I can see. Next point, the ideal customer. Knowing your ideal customer is important. When we started business in 2011, and we had this notion, I want to sell to the world. I want to just sell to the world, everybody. Who you want to sell to? Everybody. Who you want to, everybody. That's what I keep on saying, everybody. I want everybody. I want to be in every home, in every household, and that sort of thing. And the reality is, some of us may get there, but not all of us may get to that point. So developing your customer avatar or avatars and their brand persona is important. The information gathered during the prototype phase will help identify who your customers are, what interests them the most, where they are, how they like to purchase, the frequency of their purchases, how you can communicate with them and bring value or bring a valuable contributions to their lives. This is very, very important. Sometimes I look at Facebook and Instagram, and you see sometimes some conflicting messaging. Sometimes the brand, you're not sure who they're talking to. Are they talking to me? Are they talking to my mother? Are they talking to husbands? You're not sure. And what it shows in the public domain, if you are unsure, it shows that you yourself as a company is confused about who it is you're really targeting. It gives that type of imagery coming across from the person looking at it, because you're not really all together in your branding and in your persona. Your conversations are all over the place. And if you readjust who your product for market, and you come and you develop your customer avatar, your messaging and everything will be specific to them. And I will say this again, our products will not be loved by everyone. Know who dances to the beat of your drum and beat it well. I will say that our products will not be loved by everyone, but it is integral, it is important, it is imperative that you know who dances to the beat of your drum and you beat it well. Next lesson that we learned. This one was hard. Knowing the numbers. Lesson number 4, knowing the numbers. We need to build a strong financial foundation. Let me say this, and let me get real candid. You don't have to go and study accounts. You don't have to be an accounting major. You don't have to do a degree in accounts. But if we are in business, if we are in agro-processing, you have to know your numbers. Story. Let me tell you a story. When we started, we were doing the hot sauces, and for some reason, don't matter what we sell, when the money come back, the money just dwindling off into nothingness. We couldn't understand how it just was not working. It was not working at all. And it's until I got the realization that, you know how let me tell you how some of us make. I used to do it the same thing, same way. All right. So the supermarket called. Mrs. Smart, it have no pepper sauce on the shelf. You could bring 3 cases to me? Sure, no problem. I go and I make 3 cases, carry it down to the supermarket, right? 3 cases, carry it down to the supermarket. Then I'll have to wait 30 days for that money, and then that money comes back. You know what I did not consider? I did not consider that the cost to make those 3 cases were 4 times more expensive than if I made 50 cases at one time. Now, mind you, the flaw we made was that we were selling the pepper sauce at market price. So I sat down and I did the numbers. When I made those 3 cases, and I sold them, when I actually did the costing for those 3 cases, it cost me $35 to make 1 bottle of pepper sauce, like this. $35. And I sold it to the supermarket for $12. When I saw that, it was like, huh? No wonder we were feeling as though we were playing in mud, spinning top in mud, as we would say, because it was wrong. It was wrong. And that's how a lot of us manufacture. We manufacture 1 case, somebody asks for 1 case, you make that 1 case. Somebody asks for 2 case, you make that 2 case. And so we keep going. So in agri-processing, we must understand our product costing, batch costing with ideal batch sizes. What does that mean? What is the batch size that you need to make that will allow you to make a profit? So is that batch size 20 cases, 50 cases, 70 cases? What is that batch size? So it means that every time you go into your factory to make anything, you have to make your batch size 50 cases or 70 cases. You have to know cash flow and use it as a tool to make daily decisions. These are not things that you just do to carry to the bank or the credit union to get a loan, or be in some project with Export TT and they ask for a cash flow and you do up something quick. No. Your cash flow has to be used as a tool to make daily decisions, daily. So at any given time, you will know what is your expenses for that day, what is your income for that day, and whether you can afford to do things in the business on that day. You also have to know actual raw material and packaging costs, inclusive, and I'm saying inclusive of the transportation costs to go to get these items. We do not take transportation costs into consideration. We only take the raw material cost as is, the packaging cost, okay? So it costs $5 for the bottle. It costs, the peppers cost $9 a pound. You just do that. You did not add the taxi you paid to go to get the room, or the truck you sent to Trinidad to pick up the stuff and bring back. None of those costs are there. And I'm saying you have to know what your actual costs are. You also have to know the difference between your direct costs, your variable costs, and your overheads. These are things you must know. Your direct costs are the costs that go directly into the manufacture. A bottle, the pepper, a cap, a label, if you're making pepper sauce, if you're making something else, well, you know, the direct costs. Those are direct costs inclusive of the labor to make it, direct costs, right? Variable costs vary. Sometimes some persons' labor costs are variable, sometimes they are direct, right? So these are things in your operation you have to know. So variable costs will be the amount of electricity you use while you was making the product, the amount of water you used while making the product, right? All of these things, the variable cost, and then your overheads. Your overheads are those things that do not change. Whether you make one bottle or 100 cases, they do not change. So it means, therefore, rent does not change. It's an overhead. Salaries, if you have salaried staff, does not change, because whether you make one bottle or 100 bottles, you still have to pay salaries. You have to know the differences between these costs. Then you have to know break even, what is your gross, what is your net profit, and taxes. And taxes, I have to add that. So how do all these costs affect the cost of your product now to the direct consumer, the retailer, the wholesaler, and the distributor? All of these have to be taken into consideration so you know how to price your product properly. So if Penny Savers call you, you know what price is that. So you know on Penny Savers price, depending on what product you have, they have to add the markup and they have to add VAT. So at the end, the customer will pay X. If it is that you are selling to a wholesaler who sell to retailers, you know that you have to sell at a price that the wholesaler could sell to a middleman, and then that middleman can add their markup and their VAT to sell to the customer. All of these things you need to know, and don't shy away with it. The thing about it, people will say, you know, Darilyn, you're doing well. I'm on this thing today. But the thing is, we have to be brutally honest. If you don't know, find out. If you are able to comprehend it, you find it is too much. You know, I have people who say as soon as they think about it, they get a headache. Get somebody to help you. But in getting the person to help you, make sure you understand the basics of it. It is very important. We just cannot leave these things on the side and by the side. These things affect how we do business, how we progress, how we advance in this processing space. The next one, feasibility. Lesson number 5. Know where to show up and consider overexposure. Let me start with overexposure. When we started the business, I was very enthusiastic, very. Everywhere I want to be, everywhere I want to be. Every trade show, at that time we were meeting every trade show, every market, everywhere I want to be. On Facebook, I want to show up everywhere. But what that did was that it overexposed the company, and then people started knocking on the doors. Could I get it? Where can I buy it? Where could I find it? It's in Trinidad, it's in this, it's in that. I could get 2 cases, I could get 5 cases. And guess what? I had nothing. I had nothing. So what I did was that I overexposed the company before its time and kind of give the company a reputation that I did not want to give the company from the onset. So as all of us are anxious and we want to grow and that sort of thing, but also consider if you are overexposing your company and putting the company in a position where it cannot meet its commitment to the customer. You cannot say we have online sales, and then when somebody purchases online or contacts you online, you don't know where to buy. It's taking them 4, 5, 6 weeks to get the products to them and all of these things. No. Those things don't work. And I'm not throwing stones at anybody. I hope you all are, but these are things that I did and made us have to shut down, close down many times because we ran broke. Many tears, many tears. We were broke for a long time. From 2011 to 2018, it was a seesaw. We up one day, we down. A next day, we up a next day, we down a next day, because I did not. Now, mind you, I came into this business with a first degree in business management from the University of the West Indies. And I did a management special, which means all my 30 courses was management and business related. But when I had to come and deal with this business, then you realize that what you learned and actuality is chalk and cheese, really. And you really had to start all over again from scratch. I am sharing these things today and these lessons. I know I'm number 5, but I'm sharing these lessons so that you don't have to walk the road that I walked. People, these simple things, and some people may think it's simple. If you don't get it, it can leave a family hungry, especially if this is all that you do. I have known what hunger is. I have seen it. I have not eaten because of it for years. And for those who are closest to me will know the stories and the struggles of not having food, not having a house, not being put out because you cannot afford the rent, because the business not going anywhere. And it's only because of determination, passion, that I believe that this business can work, is what have us open to today. So we have to be very aware, even though our businesses are small, we want to get large. Let us be mindful of the steps to get there. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be known. Everybody products wants to be everywhere. But if you don't have the capacity to handle the marketing and the push that you are putting, pull it back a little bit. Ensure you have the staff. Ensure you have the resources. Ensure you have the support, not only staff support, but the mentorship support to get you through. You have to ensure you have all of these things, because overexposure could kill you as fast as underexposure. So I just wanted to say that, sorry to be so passionate, but show up where your ideal customer is. They may not be on social media. Your customers may not be on social media, and I want you to also consider that. Your prototyping stage would give you the relevant data to make the wise decisions. So look for ways that your company and its products can be seen and known. So your logo and or your company color, be searchable. Own your own website. The day Facebook goes down, the day Instagram goes down, what are you going to do after you have all of these people following you on these platforms? Have a website where they know without a shadow of a doubt they can find you. And then be consistent with your names across all online and offline media. So don't be sexy chick on Instagram and then be sexy something on Facebook and then now on your call card have your proper name. No, be consistent with your names across all online and offline media. What is good for one may not be good for all. So you need to develop your unique methods to communicate with your customers, and consistency is the key. Number 6, build a team. Your size does not matter. We are often the chief cook and bottle washer, and in my case, bottle washer literally, right? But for agro-processing success, you really need a team to support your efforts, whether you're doing it full-time or part-time. Who should be? I would say you need a mentor and a coach. You need somebody who would help you, who have been there and have walked the road with you. It can be a business person who have been in business for a number of years. Make sure you can get the air. You must have a bookkeeper. You must have a bookkeeper. People, we need to get our accounts in order. And I know most of ours are not in order. The bill here, the bill there, you have nothing. If somebody is to ask you off the bat, how much money did you earn last year? Hold on, you're going in your book. You're now starting to check. I didn't make that. I didn't make that. No, 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 no. These things you're supposed to know off the bat. What is your gross mat? Off the bat. So if it is that you cannot do your accounts, get a bookkeeper to manage your accounts. And you need somebody, oh, I don't need to go back. You need somebody who is in IT or media if you're not that savvy. Get that person. I have somebody who does it because I am not that savvy. She's reasonable. She knows what I want. I'm not that savvy. Please, if you don't have the skill, don't do it. Get somebody. So a core team around you, right? And don't be afraid to get help because you do not have money, right? I'm telling you, my experiences, you don't want to ask nobody because you have no money. But there are a lot of free resources available. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the doors will be open. And the last one, owning it. Seek to dominate your sector. Become knowledgeable about the products, inclusive of your ingredients and its processes, your ingredients processes, right? When we used to do pepper sauce, I know everything. You know, types of pepper, you know how it grows, you know what type of soil it grows in, you know the taste, you know the Scoville levels, you know everything, you know what is the hottest pepper in the world, you know what is coming up, you know at what thing the Moruga Red and the Scorpion, you know everything. Be extremely knowledgeable about your products. Know how your products relate. If your product is in the sun, what happens to it? If it's in the fridge, what happens to it? If you leave it out on the counter, what happens to it? If you put it in the trunk, what happens to it? Know your product inside out, inclusive of the ingredients and the processes. Develop a strategy for distribution and logistics. Your products cannot be everywhere or dominate the segment in your industry without knowing how to get your product in the hands of your customers, and might I reiterate, in the shortest possible time. Additionally, a strategy for the collections of funds is equally important. So it's a privilege, it's an honor to feed the people of the nation. Let's provide high quality products to build and support the health of our country and our region. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Darilyn, for that informative and inspiring presentation. I'm certain that our audience has been highly motivated by the depth of your experience, as well as your awareness and skillful application of success principles to get you to this point in your journey. To our audience, we will be welcoming questions shortly. So get your questions ready. And at this time, we invite Mrs. Rowan David of Export TT to present the various services available for persons in Tobago who, after this informative presentation by Mrs. Smart, wish to engage in their own export journey. Welcome, Rowan.
Good afternoon again, everyone. I am Rowan David, a business advisor in the capacity building unit of Export TT Limited. I am going to share with you information on some of the funding services provided by the capacity building unit. Export TT is the National Export Facilitation Organization of Trinidad and Tobago, charged with generating export growth and diversification in the non-energy goods and services sectors. As the Trade Policy Implementation Agency of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, we provide a comprehensive range of services to exporters focused on increasing non-energy exports, increasing the number of exporters, and delivering value for money. Our ultimate objective is developing a sustainable and diversified export sector for Trinidad and Tobago. We are customer-centric, results-driven, and home to the resident expertise in matters of international trade. So how can we help businesses? Export TT Limited has 6 funding facilities. These are grants that companies can apply for to assist in 3 key areas: export market entry costs, innovation costs, and production capacity. Any company that falls in the food and beverage, agro-processing, software development, creative industries, construction, general manufacturing, printing and packaging industry can apply. So the companies must be in the non-energy manufacturing or services sector to apply for one of our grants. So I'm going to start with the first grant, which is the co-financing facility. The co-financing facility is a grant fund that assists companies with export market entry activities. This allows companies to allocate more resources to a foreign market, helping them to mitigate risks they may be exposed to in the new markets, and increases the level of control a company has on its foreign activities. Some of the activities that are funded include first-time website development or e-commerce platform integration, shipping of samples, product testing, label design modification, trade show participation, intellectual property registration in an overseas market, translation of export-related documents and interpretation during business meetings, during phone calls, etc., and production and or company registration in an overseas market. Financial support will be provided in the amount of up to 50% the cost of the market entry activity or activities submitted for evaluation. The financial limits apply as per the size of the applying business. So for small businesses, you can get up to $60,000 per fiscal year, and the fiscal year runs from October to September. Medium companies up to $55,000, and this is reimbursable. Large companies up to $50,000 reimbursable. Only for small companies, we would pay the funds directly to the supplier. The Research and Development Facility. The Research and Development Facility is a grant fund to provide financial assistance to companies undertaking research and development activities to bring to market new and innovative products and services. The aim is to stimulate and support investment in innovation as a competitiveness or enhancement or comparative advantage tool for companies in the non-energy manufacturing and services sectors. Projects considered submitted for consideration must have at its core some element of innovation, either product innovation or process innovation. Innovation is defined by ISO as a new or improved product or process that differs significantly from previous product or processes and is made available to users. Product innovation is the introduction of a new or improved good or service. A process innovation is implementing a new or improved production or delivery approach. Now, the RDF fund is administered in 3 phases. Phase 1, to establish the technical merits, feasibility, and commercial potential. Funding will cover technical and empirical market research to produce a technical and commercial feasibility report. Funding shall not exceed 70% of the total cost of the project, up to a maximum of $100,000 over a 6-month period. Phase 2 is product and service development. Funding will cover the cost of product and service development. Funding shall not exceed 50% of the total cost of the project, up to a maximum of $750,000 TT within a maximum 2-year period. Applications to phase 2 are not exclusive to phase 1 attendees. So what this means is that you don't have to apply to phase 1 before you apply to phase 2. You can apply for phase 2, product and service development, independently. Phase 3 is commercialization. Funding based on the commercial potential of the product or service, particularly in export markets, and will cover such approved costs related to launching the product or process in the marketplace. The funding in this phase is limited to $150,000. Now, applications to phase 3 are exclusive to phase 2 attendees, meaning you must have applied for phase 2 and been awarded funding under phase 2 before you could apply for phase 3 of the Research and Development Fund. The Grant Fund Facility. This facility is administered by Export TT and assists SMEs in 8 designated sectors with the acquisition of new capital requirements for expenditure. The aim is as follows: to help to increase the production capacity of SMEs involved in the production of high value-added products and services that can compete in export markets. And the aim is also for import substitution. To help firms with import substitution. Through this facility, businesses can access individual grants from the fund up to a maximum of $250,000 per beneficiary to finance 50% of the cost of acquisition. The grant fund facility does not cover working capital, land and building costs, or installation costs. Now, there are 8 specific areas eligible for funding under the grant fund facilities. These are financial services, maritime services, aviation services, fish and fish processing, software design and applications, creative industries, agriculture and agro-processing, and manufacturing. The standards implementation grants. So the standards implementation grant provides a pathway to international standard certification. It includes production processes as well as product or service specific standards, and it can access a comprehensive range of export readiness training. For the implementation of it is used for the implementation of international standards such as, but not limited to, good manufacturing practices, hazard analysis, critical control points, and ISO in an organization. Companies can access 50% of total cost up to $70,000 on a reimbursement.
We have a question from Kanika Murray. Kanika, you can let me unmute you. And
how do we go about applying for the grant?
with one of our business advisors, and we would guide you through the process in terms of ensuring that you have all the relevant documents, and the capacity building unit would assist you in doing so.
I don't know. I didn't hear clearly.
You make an appointment to meet with our business advisors. Any one of our business advisors would be able to assist you in walking you through the process in terms of getting the relevant documentation and everything you need to do the application for funding.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. On the flyer you received for today, you would see our numbers, and you can call, and we would make arrangements to take you to the next part of your journey. Thank you for that question, Kanika. We have Mrs. Yates, Margaret Yates. You can lower your hands as fast as your questions are answered.
Okay, my question is, how do you access mentoring in terms of, all right, sometimes what I experience is that I want to use this term, is bad minders have it going on, because sometimes you just wonder if it making sense, if, you know, how to go on mentally, the mental support, telling you, listen, you know, keep going on. That's basically it. That kind of aspect, that mental mentoring of that kind of encouragement, you know, you have a product, you know, your product is good. You know, what happens is that people who you probably get a product must say a year ago, still calling it, you still have it, and it stays good. And you trying to figure out how to keep the business up and running, and you're wondering if it's making sense.
Well, Mrs. Yates, that's the precise reason for which we're having these sessions. This is a series that we're having. This is the first in the series. We have 2 scheduled for between now and June. And the next one is on April 12th. The reason we have these is for the purpose of encouraging Tobago's entrepreneurs to not give up, to hold on, to hear from those who have struggled through and are still in the game, so to speak, like Mrs. Smart. And so the whole idea, the thrust that Export TT is on at this point in time is identifying the areas in which mentorship is needed by Tobagonian entrepreneurs. And because it's a whole mindset scenario that needs to evolve, and the courage to do so has to be found within the individual. So to inspire you, that's the reason we have these seminars at this point in time. As we go along in the month of, around the middle of next month, April, we will be commencing our costing and pricing workshop for the public as well. There will be a continuation of that, a follow-up on that, which is individual mentoring that for which we'll be hiring a consultant to work with you and walk with you over the next few months as you are seeking that type of individual attention. I hope that helps in some way. But you can feel free to contact us on the numbers we have, and we will escort you through the next segments of your journey, Mrs. Yates.
Let me answer Miss Yates.
Miss Yates, Miss Yates, and thanks so much.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.
Miss Yates, right? Miss Yates, the thing about it is that it all starts with what you believe and what you have a desire. You can have everything available to you. You can have training, you can have the mentoring, you can have everything, and you can still flop. It all comes down to the passion within you. If you know without a shadow of a doubt, you know that this thing can work, then you stick your heels in and you make it work. Because you can get the mentoring, you can get all the grants, you can get everything. And I have seen people who have gotten all, and still at this point in time, they have not advanced. You have the stick-to-itiveness within you. You know you have to take a critical look at the areas you are strong in, the areas you are weak in, and work on the areas that you are weak in to help you keep moving. Right? I just wanted to say that it comes from your belly.
Thank you very much. I guess that is the part that I'm saying. You know, I usually term bad mind. Something inside, I cannot give up. I just cannot give up because I know that there is potential. I know that this can work. But when different things are wrong, you're hitting you, you're just, what are you doing? You know, that's the kind of stuff.
And once the questions come, you are in a good place. The questions will always come. What doing? This making sense? Yes, it making sense. Just look at it one day at a time, jump the hurdles one at a time, and you will get to where you want to go. It comes from your belly. And once that is there, that fire will propel you to keep moving and moving and moving forward, but also move forward and continuously learn and learn and learn, not just remain stagnant in thought.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Yates. And Bianna Edwards of Tobago is indicating to you that she is available there to also assist you. Another tea maker.
Thank you so much, my friend.
We're proud of our Tobago tea makers. And at this point, thank you, Darilyn. We have one more question from Deborah Joseph George. Deborah, you can unmute and ask your question.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. My question was kind of along the same line. I was going to ask Darilyn if she will be willing and interested in mentoring people who are really have that fire that you're talking about, to think if you will be willing to be mentor for such ones.
Who have the fire in their belly. Yeah, once you have the fire in your belly, we will go. Because that's also a role that I play as SWORD consultant, but also as the chairperson of the association. Once you have the fire in your belly, we could run. Once you're willing to run, I run in with you, right? But you know, we say that sometimes we want to go, and then sometimes when you see the obstacles come in, people just kind of fall back. But you have to have the fire in your belly to say, listen, I am going to do this. It's not only for me, it's for my children, it's for my children's children, it's for my legacy. I have to leave an impact in this earth. Persons like that is who I love to work with. If you know you have to make an impact in this earth, if you know you have a fire in your belly, if you know what God tells you to do, it have to come to fruition, I'm with you. So the answer to that is yes, Deborah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah, for that question. Thank you, Darilyn. Anyone else has a question? And for now, we'll hold the questions actually. Roanne David is back on, and we'd like her to just continue with the export TT services. Roanne, you can go ahead.
My apologies, everyone. I was busy talking away, not realizing that you all were not hearing me. So I will just speak again about the International Certification Fund, which is the second to last fund I am going to speak about. The International Certification Fund provides financial assistance to the manufacturing sector, including agro-processing, for a range of applicable international standards to boost production of non-energy exports and contribute to import substitution. The ICF will provide grant funding to assist eligible firms with building capacity in the conduct of standards audits, inspections, and/or implementation of the process of certification, the acquisition and operation of specialized equipment required for the adoption of standards, infrastructural modifications to comply with standards implementation, and auditing and certification costs. Funding beneficiaries are firms boosting the production of non-energy exports. Now, if you have export sales, US dollars, of less than $1 million, you can get 100% up to a maximum of $500,000 of the certification costs covered. If you're making more than $1 million, but less than 2 million, you can get 75% of the cost covered, and making between 2 million and $4 million, 50% of the cost. If it is a firm contributing to import substitution and you have a turnover, TT dollars, of less than $25 million, you can be funded 100% of the cost up to a maximum of $500,000. The final fund I will speak about today is the Labeling and Product Testing Fund. The Labeling and Product Testing Fund will provide grant funding to assist eligible firms with product testing, product modification, packaging modification, and labeling redesign. The fund will cover 75% of the service costs to a ceiling of 80,000 TT dollars per beneficiary, and this money is paid directly to the supplier. Companies who want to apply for this fund must be sole proprietors, partnerships, or companies wholly owned by Trinidad and Tobago nationals and registered and operating in Trinidad and Tobago, a firm that is an established going concern that has been in existence for a minimum of 2 years, and companies that have begun the modification process based on documented buyer interest. If you want to learn more about the funds, you can contact Jonathan Citron to learn more about the co-financing facility, more about the grant fund facility, and the research and development facility. Betty Narine to learn more about standards implementation and the International Certification Fund. And you can contact me, Rowan David, to learn more about the Labeling and Product Testing Fund. I thank you all very much for your attention this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Rowan. And we would like to continue our question and answer segment. So those of you with a question, please feel free to raise your hand, and Rowan or Darilyn would be able to answer you. Anyone with any questions? Any more questions?
Hi, good night. I just want to know the accounting that she uses.
Keisha, your voice is not coming through clearly. Keisha, could you repeat your question, please? Your voice isn't coming through clearly.
Yeah, you're hearing me loudly now?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly now. We're hearing you clearly now. You can go ahead now.
I wanted to find out the accounting firm that she uses for her accounting.
I don't want to promote anybody on the platform, but there is a bookkeeper that a few persons use. So I will message you after, right?
Yeah, you could WhatsApp me after, yeah.
Yeah, I will.
And Darilyn, would it be, could you put your number on the chat so that if anyone would like to contact you afterwards, they can do so. Thank you, Keisha. So you can lower your hands, and anyone else who would like to ask a question, feel free. Anyone else? Okay. So at this point, Export TT. There is another question. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Shona.
Hi. I was wondering if Darilyn knew any resources that we could go to kind of learn more about business financials to really get a grasp on that.
Yes. Yes, I'll have to source it. And I'll message you, Shauna. I'll message you. Yeah, but I'll have to locate it, right? So
Okay,
I'll
thanks.
Mhm.
All right.
Thank you, Shauna. Okay, we'll have another 60 seconds for those who would like to let's see who has a question before we round up. Shauna, can you lower your hand, please? Thank you.
While we wait on the 60 seconds, let me say something, Kathleen.
Sure, go ahead.
I just want to say that every processor and every business person that is on this call today, you have the capacity to make it. We know that there are challenges. We know that there are ups. We know that there are downs. We know that we have a number of challenges facing us, especially in this, if you're in the Tobago space. I just want to encourage you all. Most of the persons on this call, I would know, and I would know your products. I would know your business, some of it. You have the capacity to take Tobago, to take Trinidad, to take the Caribbean and the nations of this world by storm. So I just want to encourage everybody. It didn't say it was going to be easy. And I'm just letting you, it's not going to be easy. So just be prepared. It's not going to be easy. So because it's not going to be easy, set in your mind that I know from before it's not going to be easy. So I need to have a mindset where I'll be able to overcome whatever comes our way. We have a lot of people in this space. If you feel that you're lonely, if you feel that you cannot make it, if you feel like you're going crazy, if you feel like if you just need somebody to bounce, find another processor who you're comfortable speaking with. Just bounce the ideas, talk it out. Say, listen, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, you know this, you know that, how to do this, how to do that. We don't do it by yourself because we all have the same challenges. So I just want to say that in the last 60 seconds, you all have the capacity, you can do it, you will do it, and we will all do it together. Tobago will be put on the map because of the type of products we have represented here today. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Darilyn. Thank you very much. That's a very important point you've made there. When products go onto the international market, there's one label that covers everything from Tobago. That's made in Tobago. So the market is not going to be concerned what was the infighting or the competition between each producer. So therefore, competition between each other will make no sense at that point in time. Helping one another would make more sense. Anyone else for questions? Yes, we have a question from Zoba Samuel. Zoba, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, good night. Nicole, my question is, in relation to the funding, where it speaks to like the 50% capacity, does that require you to show your 50% upfront, or is it that you guys funding the 50% and then you show the 50 after?
We will require bank statements to show you have the funding. You have the existing funding before we can finance the balance.
Let me say something here again to everybody on the chat. I want Export TT to also impress that the services are for persons that are export ready. They are on the crux to export or they are export ready. Because Kathleen, after these types of meetings, we have people calling me. They want to apply, they want to apply, they want to apply. But when they see the forms, they realize that they cannot apply because they don't have many things that has been things. So if you know that you want to access these services, see what is required, and your company has to be positioned towards export and going towards export or export ready. So I just need to make that clear so that my phone is not ringing for weeks after this call about they cannot get on, they can't fill out this form, and they're frustrated. These are for businesses that are going towards export. So if you know that you are not there yet, and I'm saying yet, just look and see what are the requirements and position your business to apply.
Thank you very much for saying that, Darilyn, because it's very, very, very true. There are a few of the facilities that I mentioned this afternoon that are also for import substitution. So if you know you're producing something that can be used as an import substitution, you can apply for that. But as Darilyn mentioned, contact one of the advisors, read the requirements for accessing the facilities before you think about applying for it.
Thank you, Roanne. Thank you, Darilyn. Very important. If you know that your accounts are not yet in order and you still don't understand how to cost your products and all these things, the basic foundational parts of your business are not in order as yet, you are definitely not ready for export, though in your heart, you know that your intention is to work towards that direction. That's why Export TT offers courses, seminars, workshops in various aspects of business development, and our memorandum of understanding with the business development unit, the business development unit of the Tobago House of Assembly also provides business development tools for you and resources so that all these things can come towards your eventually being eligible to apply for what Export TT has to offer. We'll take you towards the export segment. So your basic business development, we do assist with that, but there are other state entities that would help you in that area, whether or not you're going towards export. When that part of your journey is fulfilled, we take you to the next level. And so thank you very much. And another 30 seconds for anyone else who has a question. Okay, so we will round up at this point in time. And Export TT wishes to thank our audience this evening for taking the time out to attend this evening's seminar, this evening's session. It is our desire and intention to take you to the next level of your export journey. We're certain that in many ways, the exporting story of Darilyn Smart will prepare you to confront this journey with the right posture for success. Export TT would like to specially thank this evening's featured speaker, Mrs. Darilyn Smart, for accepting our invitation to share her exporting story with us and to help so many others who can now benefit from her experience, the critical information she has shared, and the many lessons learned along the way. Mrs. Smart, we wish you continued success in your entrepreneurial and corporate endeavors and your mentorship of women in business. We hail you as a true nation builder. Thank you to our technical and protocol teams for facilitating this event. God bless our nation. Good evening.